A drive to tear down symbols of colonial legacy is gaining pace in Uganda. This street in Kampala, named after Gerard Portal, is one of those being targeted. Portal was the first Briton to declare British authority over Uganda.
There is a need to remove these symbols, visible symbols, because their continued stay on our streets, especially in public spaces in the capital city, invokes, for people who know the history, those forces of oppression, forces of colonial superiority.
Uganda was under British rule for 70 years before achieving independence in 1962. Campaigners say education needs to change too.
Where is the education for African children about the truth of colonialism, the violence of white supremacy? That's not an accident that that's missing. If black people in mass had that real education, white supremacy couldn't be what it is.
Around the world, protesters have targeted statues and symbols linked to colonial history. And it's no different here in Uganda. This World War monument standing in the middle of the capital was built to honor Ugandan soldiers who died fighting in the World Wars. Millions of African soldiers died fighting after forcefully being pushed to join the fight for colonies, and campaigners say it's dehumanizing. In Uganda, similar protests to highlight racism and stand in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter campaign were stopped. Some activists were arrested but later released on police bond.
For us to, fight injustices, for us to get a sense of equality or equity, we need to stand together. And if I keep quiet, my black brothers in America will, still be killed for, minor instances.
Ugandan police say the timing wasn't just right. The country banned all public gatherings to slow the spread of COVID-19.
Right now, we see they were in violation of some of those guidelines under the Public Health Act, and we decided also to charge them of doing an act that is likely to spread an infection of a disease.
City authorities refused to comment on the call to remove statues and rename streets. Activists say roads should be named after icons of peace in Africa, like Nelson Mandela.
Respect of human rights and freedom. This is what this man represents. Yes.
There are also calls for local street names to take into account cultural diversity and gender. The online campaign group says it will take legal action if changes don't happen. Isabel Nakiria, Kampala.